Attitude is really important in culture. So simple things like, when a coach is having a discussion or chatting to players, you can't have a player looking elsewhere or worried about, and I think, you correct those things and it drives the right sort of culture.
This is Coach to Coach, where we talk junior basketball coaching in a relaxed, practical way. I'm Jace, and these are your fast break chats. Let's get into it. Welcome. It's great to have you here, Dee. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with a few questions to get the crowd to know you.
Sure.
How long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching now for about 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who and what age groups have you been coaching with?
So I coach currently under 11s and under 15s, boys, but I coached from under 8s onwards, boys and girls.
Yep.
So yeah.
Why do you coach? What brings you to coaching? What fuels you?
I mean, I played basketball all my life. I grew up in Sri Lanka, moved to Australia when I was 17. I played a lot of basketball here. Coaching really became something I was interested after the kids started playing basketball. And I think it's a natural interest. I was sort of, as most people get into coaching, asked to come and help as an assistant, which then sort of led me to help out with domestic, because domestic coaching is usually mostly parents at the start. Then got asked to come and assist with the rep season, and then started coaching basketball with rep and domestic.
Yeah, great. Do you love it?
I mean, I got a real passion for basketball, but also, I do enjoy sort of the younger age groups.
Yep.
I'm a little bit of a old school basketball in the sense of, play the right way, and I feel like instilling some of that sort of the culture aspects of playing the right way in young kids, especially these days, the cooking culture from 3 and that's all good. I mean, there's all exciting basketball, but I think some of the fundamentals,
Yep.
team structure stuff is something that I'm passionate about teaching young kids.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Was there someone that has influenced your coaching along the way?
I would say, when I say influence, I think from a basketball perspective, growing up, I was a big Larry Bird fan.
Yep.
And then sort of followed him through, and then he turned into a coach as well, coached the
right.
Indiana Pacers, and he had a really good, he's actually, quite legendary. And I think following his career, I think that's the guy who inspired me both from a playing perspective and then from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, great. Yeah. I guess that sort of leads into my next question. Who's your favourite professional player? Obviously, Larry Bird features.
Larry Bird. We're all Jordan fans, I think, most of all from our era. I think these days, I got a lot of family in the Bay Area, so going to San Fran, naturally, you kind of go to the Warriors games and Steph Curry and that. But I think my favorite player is probably Giannis.
Yeah, okay.
Just the story of how he had to sort of, I don't know if you've seen his documentary, but, growing up sort of poor in Greece and then coming up, I think he's quite an inspiration.
Yep. There's definitely there's a backstory that would move a few people, I reckon.
Absolutely, and I think it's well worth it if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, no, I'll have to check that out. Absolutely. One of the things I've been inspired. You actually have never coached my son, but we seem to have crossed paths many times over the last few years, and there was a pattern that appeared over my time of knowing you, and that was your ability to grow incredible team culture. So I thought, you know what, that's the perfect subject to drag you in here for. Tell me, I guess, where does it start for you? Why is it important? What's it mean for you?
Yeah, so I think from a basketball standpoint, I'm very much a coach that emphasizes team play, and I'm not afraid to say that if you're a player that's interested in scoring and checking out your Play HQ scores after the game, I'm probably not the coach for you.
Yeah.
So I think for me, basketball, especially from a youth level, starts with the parents. Okay. To be honest, I'm a parent as well. So my first thing is whether it's a team you inherit in domestic or a team you pick in rep, I like to start before the season start, get the parents in and go through a couple of non-negotiables, and a couple of them are around a pass first mentality. So I think I had this thing where one of the parents in my early days told me, and it stuck with me, one-on-one, have some fun, one-on-two, not for you, one-on-three, sit with me. And so I think establishing those culture non-negotiables early with the parents,
Yes.
Especially, in terms of like how many minutes minimum can you expect for your son? Because I know how it is as a parent, driving around basketball, the last thing you want to do is have your son in a team that's going to get 1 or 2 minutes, and so I think it's really important. I believe in giving a minimum number of minutes for
Yes.
kids so that they can actually prove themselves, and if they're playing well, earn the minutes. So I'm big on that.
Yep.
And that could range from rep and domestic. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is, what are your non-negotiables? So for me, if someone's open and in a better position, passing the ball,
Pass
that's
the
the
ball.
expectation.
Yeah.
You need to play defense. I think no matter what, there are some, and some people are better with defense, but the effort needs to be there, and that's often rewarded after the game. And I think I picked this up again from another coach, Jerome, actually, or maybe Josh from Under 14 Inspectors. They give a lock of the week, lock of the game. So it's like a padlock that they put on the bag.
Awesome.
And that's given to the best defender of the game. So I think that just, because, one of the unfortunate things about stats, and you can't look away from statistics because that's important in today's game, but in the youth game, there's only points and fouls, really, and
that's
fouls
right.
if you want to look at it. So I think rewarding defense is important. So I think those kind of pillars in terms of cultural aspects
Yes.
is important to set up start. So I think that sets the foundation then, and the expectation. So even if you're star player, and let's be honest, there are players that are
Always
better talent, but if they're not playing defense, then, or they don't pass the ball, then you sub them off. I think everyone sees that,
Yes.
and then they fall in line. But if you don't do that, I think then you empower the wrong behaviors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a matter of at this level keeping things round for their development as well.
I agree, because I'm strong. Like, you might have a player who's very offensively gifted. As a coach, I think you have a responsibility to make the player more rounded.
Yeah.
So I think then if you develop the player to play better defense and to sort of be a better passer, that could only mean he's more of a threat. Harder to double team.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what I believe in. Equally, if you're a better defensive player, how do you improve the offensive game?
Yeah, well, that's right. And it might not even necessarily be specific skills development. It's more of, if nothing else, attitude development. It's having them realize that, okay, you're a strong offensive player. However, you need to play this defense position as well. And as you say, it'll make you a bigger threat.
Absolutely. I think little things are big things.
Yep.
Attitude is really important in culture. So simple things like, when a coach is having a discussion or chatting to players
With the team.
you can't have a player looking elsewhere or worried. And I think, you correct those things and it drives the right sort of culture, and, players then sort of fall in line, especially at a young age. And then when they're, what I love to see is, kids that go up in their career, and then you'd have a coach come in going, so-and-so is just locked in.
Yeah.
Great worker, takes everything, a sponge. That's what makes me want to coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're just checking on your players that you used to coach before, and you see them doing well.
Yeah.
That's what you get out of it.
Oh, look, and it's interesting you say that, because I'm actually working with one of my under 9 girls in my team at the moment, and she's a strong offensive player. But I'm trying to get her to understand that, and I know this is not referring to defense, but it's, we've got broad philosophies to teach these kids. I'm trying to get her to understand that just because she's passing the ball doesn't mean her chance to score is gone. It's actually opened it up, because I'm trying to say, if you move the ball to that position, and then move to the right spot, you've now got a much better shooting opportunity, and you've used your teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also, rewarding players, and it might not be always after the game. For example, as a player makes a great pass, that player gets fouled, goes to free throw line. While they're shooting the free throws, I'll call the player who made the pass to the sideline and just give them a little high five, and that's goal, because they see the parent looking at them. And I think they're the kind of things, that little things that go a long way for a player, validates that they made the right play. So
and these are the things that builds the team culture.
Correct.
It's probably not a specific rule book for how to build culture, it's 100 little things.
Absolutely. Like another big non-negotiable for me for the players is every time you call a sub and a player's coming off, everyone on the bench gets up, high fives the player.
High fives.
These are team culture things that I feel is super important, especially at a young age.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's actually, I've seen your team do that. It's almost intimidating.
Well, yeah, I think it's just I feel like players play. I mean, obviously, you got your parents, but they play for their teammates. And when
Absolutely.
their teammates are like so happy, because I think at a young age when you get subbed, it's only natural to be one. You head down. There's a certain, and it's fine. You have to understand that.
Absolutely.
But then I always tell my kids to be a goldfish. I learned that from Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah.
And so it's all right. You make a mistake. That's the other thing, right? You make a mistake. Don't look at your mom or dad or your coach. Next play mentality.
Absolutely.
And so that takes a while to sort of build in as a muscle that it comes naturally. A bit like box outs.
Yeah.
When you're boxing off a rebound, you practice it, but you want it to be second nature.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be.
So there, the other aspects of team culture, when someone watches your team play, if everyone's boxing out, straight away they realize this team's in sync.
They know what's going on.
They know what's going on.
Yeah.
Correct.
What do you think? Have you ever, where do you sit on the whole, looking to parents, from the game?
Yeah, so being a parent myself, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you invest a lot of time. You can't help but sort of say things like take the shot or rebound. But I again, it's that initial meeting where I try to tell the parents, look, I'm a parent too.
Yep.
You got the whole drive into the game. You got the whole drive back after.
There's lots of time to talk.
You got 7 days a week.
Yep.
So for 1 hour of training or 2 hour training a week, and then game time, that's sort of, you need to let your son or daughter be, listening to me as a coach.
Yep.
I also do. I think that's another part of the culture is every couple of months, at least the season, at least 3 or 4 times, it will be proactive feedback.
Okay.
So all the parents, 10, 15 minutes.
Individual chats?
Individual chats.
As in player, you,
so
and parent?
I find when the player is not there, it's probably more productive.
Yeah, okay.
I think when the player is there, sometimes you feel like you can't
Yep.
be, because they're young kids as well. So we alternate.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are, everyone's busy now. It might be a Zoom call.
Yeah, yep.
But I prefer face-to-face.
Yeah, I would
and I don't try to go into too much detail. Just 3 things that they do really well.
Yep.
And 3 things that they can improve on.
Great.
But also, there could be things that are happening that I don't know about. Changing schools or things like that.
External factors.
External factors. So it's good for a coach to know that, they can just keep an eye on. So I think having that proactive discussions gives them a opportunity to provide feedback.
Yeah.
What you don't want is to not have that session and then they're suddenly calling for a meeting, because those meetings are never good.
Yeah, no.
So,
well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I know as a parent of a player, I have tried to, particularly in the more recent years, go to the coach to understand actually what message they want me to share with my son. Because there's no point him going to training, getting one message, and then getting a different message from me. And I think that's something that I reckon a few more coaches could and should lay down as as you say, a not negotiable.
Interesting you say that. I've done away with big team meetings. So I have the one at the start of the season.
Yes.
And after that, I send them a WhatsApp brief
Yep.
after every game. The reason I do that is a lot of the times you're not going to get both parents.
Yeah.
You might get one, you might get grandparents, might bring the
Yep.
kid, whatever. So after every game, it'll be 3 things we did well again.
Yep. As a
3
team.
As a team.
Yep.
No individuals in the team chat. And then 3 things that I want them to focus on for the week.
As a
and
group,
can you just reiterate it?
Yeah.
The parents to reiterate. And
Yep.
so then they know that these are the things that sometimes
Yes.
it's who we playing next, but most often it's really about what we could have done better.
Yep.
And what are some of the areas we're going to focus on during the week.
Yeah.
So I think that way there's an alignment. And I find the messages.
Alignment is important.
Messages are good because it's one message.
Yes.
Everyone reads it. You can
Yes.
read it a few times.
Yep.
And that's worked well from the feedback I got from parents.
Yeah. Well, look, everything you've said pretty much lines up with what I would have expected in terms of what I would imagine it would take to build a great team culture. It's it's some fundamentals, some not negotiables, and it's some repetition in the message and consistency. So I'm actually really appreciate the insights being shared. It's I think I particularly enjoy that we have this chat to share with other coaches, because at the end of the day, the whole point of this podcast is for everybody to grow, everybody to improve.
Absolutely.
That's the point.
I think there will be a difference. I think if like predominantly coach young age, now do coach under 15s at Waverley, and you have to sort of tinker your coaching style to the age groups as well, because I think when you're younger, you can be a little bit firmer. I feel like the kids are more responsive because they're eager to learn. As they get older, they have learned a bit. So I think the messaging is a little bit different.
Yes.
And so I find that difference is also important, because from a culture perspective, the parents have less of a
an influence.
Influence, I guess.
Yes.
And it's more how you want the players to respond to you. But also, I think at that, when they get to sort of under 15, under 16 level, each player has developed in a different way, and you almost have to have not different strokes for different folks type thing, but you got to try to get the best of each player so that as a team, they can. Whereas when you're under 12, it's more of the group coming together. You are going to have more talented and less talented, but the gap isn't as big, as it is when you get to the age group. So you had to think of that. So I found that kind of interesting as well. And also as a coach, older coaches, you always, because I see some of the younger coaches, and I'm trying to learn from them as well, because they have a more, I won't say a softer style, but the delivery of the message is different. So I think where possible, I'm always trying to get an assistant who's a younger coach, so that we
bring a different angle.
Bit of fire and ice.
Absolutely.
I think that's worked really well.
And I guess just one last question.
Sure.
Are there differences between rep and domestic?
Yeah, I think there is.
In terms of building culture.
Yeah, building culture. I feel like rep's quite demanding. In terms of minimum 2 coaching, 2 trainings, and a game,
week,
and Friday night, you could be playing quite far away. And so there's as a parent, you need, as a coach, you need to understand the parents put in a lot of commitment. So I think from a culture perspective, I like to bring the parents in, input. I mean, there's a line there in terms of coaching, but I think the more you can have parents part of the oral program, sometimes after a big win, when we put the specters on 3, we get the parents in.
Wow. Okay, cool.
And the grandparents, and some of them love that, so just kind of building that culture. Domestic's a bit different, because I think domestic is, especially if there are kids playing rep who are playing domestic, you want it to be a little bit more relaxed, because the last thing you want is, because rep can be a quite stressful environment.
It can be.
So domestic, you want it to be a little bit more fun, a little bit of opportunity for them to kind of try out some stuff.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a subtle difference. Also, having 7 players to maybe 8 to having 10 to manage minutes and all is a little bit different. You have to be a little bit more structured and have different options. So, a little bit different, but in the end, the principle of culture still applies.
That's it for today's Fast Break chat on Coach to Coach. Thanks for listening. I'm Jace, and I'll catch you next time.